Hey guys, it's Farah from Hippie Harvest Homestead. It is raining outside right now, but it is the perfect time to do a garden video because the baby's asleep, so I actually have time. So, a little wet out, but no big deal. And we'll take you through the garden and show you what's going on. I wanted to stop real quick and show you how our grapes are doing. They're doing awesome. And actually, Tom and I debated whether or not we were going to throw some sort of a covering over this. We have tulle on our blueberry bushes, and that was something that we had talked about because we have a ton of birds hanging around here. But actually, I haven't seen too many getting picked off lately, so right now we're gonna just keep it because it's gorgeous to look at. Again, the yard-long beans, I mean, I don't think they look much different since the last time you guys saw them. They are starting to climb, which is pretty cool. But so the package says about 70 to 80 days to harvest, but they've been here probably close to 65, and I don't see really much happening. And I guess, I don't know, maybe these are gonna be flowers in here. I don't know. It's not looking very good for them, but we'll just sit back and see what they do. Now the other beans, on the other hand, are doing awesome, and I have been trying to convince Tom that we need to come out here and start harvesting some of them because some of these guys are big. Look at that guy. I mean, there's quite a few good-sized ones in here, so I think that's going to be probably looking at maybe Sunday for these. Today is Friday, so yeah, I'm thinking Sunday. We have a few different varieties of green beans in here. Tender green bean, Provider, there's a couple others. And then we have the purple ones, which just started the other day. Very cool looking. So, oh, and actually, these in here started. See that? Now, they're a little green now, but as they mature, they'll be a nice deep purple color. I think it'll look really nice in here against all the green. Our chickpeas are flowering. Tom and I both were pleasantly surprised with these plants because they really are very cool looking. They add a different kind of element to the garden, so I'm really enjoying watching them grow. Here's these eggplants that I've been really trying to bring back, but look at this. Look at these little bugs. Little son of a gun there. Now these guys I have been finding all over the place, and I've been squishing them. Just a little squish. Because look at this. Now, yesterday, nothing on this plant. It was perfect leaves. So you see how tiny they are. They just wreak havoc. So get rid of them. You see them, squish them. I talked in my last video about doing a baking soda spray, which works for a lot of bugs and for the fungus that I was up against with my tomato plants. So it's possible I might try that out. Oh, this guy looks fine for the most part. Not too bad. So Jackson's garden. Look at this kid. I mean, really, I have not gotten any raspberries yet. This kid, he's loaded. Here's his tomato. Now here's the problem with all our tomatoes. We have not staked any of them. We went back and forth of what we were going to do this year. And guess what we did? Nothing. So that's definitely on the agenda of to get a hold of this tomato jungle. So we got a few falling down here. But all these guys here have tomatoes on them. So I really got to get because now what happens is the tomatoes, as soon as they fall over, they start growing upwards. So you'll end up with tomato plants with leaves at the top here, and down here will actually shoot out little like roots, and it'll reroot itself into the ground if you let it. See, here's another one here. He's looking crazy because I haven't bothered with him. But so I did just do a video on the fungus that we had on one of our, which it looks to me like leaf spot. I'll show you those guys real quick. The ones that I was working on was this guy here and this one. They seem to be looking pretty good. I don't have any issues with them, other than a couple of little flea beetles that have decided to take up residence here. So I'm going to continue to prune them as usual and keep an eye on them. And hopefully, here's one of our makeshift stakes. And hopefully, you know, we won't have any other issues with that. And the other thing I wanted to touch on real quick, I'm going to do another video at some point, I think, for pruning for tomatoes, because a lot of people have asked me about it. In the last one that I did, when I pruned this one, it's the same concept. You just go through, and I always like to leave at least a foot with no leaves on it, because, you know, anything that's in this ground here that splashes up from rainwater, it puts it right on your plant. And that's how, you know, I probably got the leaf spies. It's just from it splashing up with all that rain that we recently had. So the thing with tomato plants is they grow super fast, so you have to really keep on top of them. Now look, I just pruned this. Look at this little guy that just popped up. So just, you know, keeping on top of them. That's all you got to do, is just pop them off. I had recently mentioned to a friend of mine about the suckers. And suckers are the branch that comes in between a joint here or the armpit, like a lot of us say. So this would be a sucker here. So I could pop this guy off, and then, you know, the plant will keep growing upward. But I'm going to let that one go for a little while. I kind of just read the plant and just see, you know, if I want to take it off or not. Like this one here. Here's another guy, but I decided to leave him, and he is starting to put out some buds here for flowers. I'm just gonna let him go. But this guy, like right here, I would like this to be up a little bit further, so I'm actually gonna take off both of them. So you saw how I just snipped it with my fingernail. You could use your, you know, any sort of pruning tool that you have, but works pretty good on the smaller size plants. All right, so I'm gonna take you quick through the cornfield because this thing exploded. I mean, it's just ridiculous how tall these are. I was looking at them, I feel like it was maybe a week ago, and I was like, oh wow, look at that. It's almost as high as the fence. And now it's well beyond that. Excuse me, what are you doing over here? What are you doing over here? Hey, little man. Now that is Tom the rooster. He got his name from the fact that he has a little beard like Tom, my husband. So the kids named him Tom. So that's Tom and his girl over there. So anyway, back to the corn here. Yeah, we are starting to check this out. So this is how the corn gets pollinated. And it's not quite ready yet, it's got to dry out. And then it'll fall into these little crevices here. And this will be corn. So stay tuned for that, because I cannot wait for good corn. All right, down here, cucumber madness taking over. Check it out. I'm so excited about this because
the beginning of the season, we didn't think we were getting any cucumbers because we had killed all of ours accidentally. But check it out. Lots and lots of cucumbers in here. I mean, I've got them all over the place. I was just looking at them and I'm like, oh man, I gotta start keeping a little better track here, because you almost don't even realize they're there. I mean, they're just all over the place. And a lot of these are actually pickling cucumbers, and Tom's like, no, let them go. But really, this is too large for a pickling cucumber. Really, that's not how big you want it. Let's see if I can find you one. I mean, it really depends on how large you want your pickles to be, but generally speaking, that's a little kind of large. And of course, I can't even see my perfect size ones. Nah, see, that guy's a little, that's a okay size. That's not too bad. So, I'm gonna get out here very soon. And a tip that I've recently heard is actually to pick your cucumbers after rain, because they soak up that water. And if you can't, to actually, oh man, now the chickens are at my neighbors. Let me get that and get back to you. Come on, Tom. Come on, buddy. Come on, girls. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Okay. Now that I got those troublemakers out of there, let me finish showing you the cucumbers. My poor neighbor next door, he is trying to desperately grow grass. And my chickens keep going over there and eating his seed. Thank God I have a very nice neighbor. Here's a look at Tom's lemon cucumber coming in. See this guy here? Now you can see, I'm gonna pull this off because I'm kind of thinking, see, you know what? I'm a little concerned with this guy, but I'll leave it be. But sometimes you get flower rot at the end, and that could be a problem. We'll see how he does. Otherwise, he looks pretty healthy. We'll leave it alone and see what happens with him. So, otherwise, looking pretty good over here. Not too much going on as far as bugs. I mean, we've got some spots on some leaves, but not too bad. Now this, however, this is just, what is happening? I don't even know. What I've seen over here is those little June bugs, and that's it. That's all that I've seen on any of these leaves. And usually when I've come through here, I've maybe seen 2 at most. I just can't believe that they're doing this much destruction, but I mean, it's definitely possible. So I don't know. It looks like they're about to start opening up, so I don't know. Maybe we'll get some flowers out of this, although I don't know. They better hurry up, because they're just gonna get killed by this whatever bug we got going on over here. All right, I walked right past the squash. So here's a look at some of the zucchini here, as you can see. Now you know how to tell the difference between, let's see if I can get this one open so you can see. If it is on, ooh, a bug fell out of there. If it is on the end of a zucchini here, then you know it's a female, because females carry the fruit. This is a male here. There's no fruit behind it. So basically what has to happen is a bee has to come over here to the male, go in, come on little guy, and it's got to get a little bit of pollen on its little legs and carry it on over to the female. And as soon as you get that, then you'll end up with a nice vegetable there. But here's the thing. If it's not pollinated, you'll end up with something that looks like this guy. Now you see that? So there was fruit, and now it's just shriveling up. Shriveling up to a little nothing here. Now when I see this, usually I just pop them off. There's no sense to leaving these on. They're not gonna recover, and honestly you're just taking energy away from the plant, and he's trying to put off some other fruits here, so I'm just gonna take that off and let that be. So we've got several plants going with quite a bit of squash zucchini here. There's another one. See, there's another little guy here. He wasn't pollinated, so just pop him off. No sense, like I said, no sense of keeping him on just to take nutrients away from the rest of the plant. Here is our butternut squash. Doing really well. I'm really impressed with this. These are our seeds from last year, and it's just like a sea of butternut squash here. The acorns are a little bit slower, but still they're looking pretty good. And here's our watermelon. The watermelon is just like the eggplant. It came back from next to nothing. And we've actually got a couple little, see that? So there's something in there. But here's another thing too. Be careful where you put your watermelon, because you can see here, they will just grab onto anything. And right now they're holding on to a stick that was in our mulch, but I mean, he's got the death grip on that. You're not getting him off. So don't plant these anywhere near any other plants that you're afraid might get choked out. You know, I know, I'm gonna take a step back so you guys can see. These guys have plenty of room to grow. They can go wherever they want. They can go up the fence. So definitely give them plenty of room. Same thing with the cucumbers. I was just having a discussion with one of my friends about that. Here, cucumbers just taking over. So here is our broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower. Tom and I both say this is the disappointment area. We don't even like coming by here anymore because we've been trying to keep up with the caterpillars, and it's just taken over. Honestly, I'm just kind of laying back and just, if I see something, I'll squish it, but for the most part, I'm just curious to see what it looks like in the end, because there's a head in there. So, but after everything's said and done, we're just gonna pull everything out and actually give it to the animals and let them eat it. And then I'm gonna replant this for my fall crop, but this time I'm getting row covers, and fingers crossed that actually works. I've heard good things about row covers. So Luna, come on. Now she's going with the neighbors. All right, in here is our beets. I want to see if here we go. See these guys back here? Yeah, doing pretty good. I love beets. I think I've mentioned that before. Tom, the kids, not so much. Tom will eat them roasted, but that's pretty much the extent of it. But I'm gonna do some more refrigerator beets, just like refrigerator pickles. So I'll probably do a video on that. Those are easy at some point when I harvest these guys, and some cucumbers, then I'll do that. Just pull out a couple weeds that I saw there. The kale is over here. I thought I heard Tom, but oh, wait, too. There he is. He's over at the house whistling at me. All right, here's the kale. We've been harvesting this, and when you do that, you want to go with the bottom leaves first. You know, you don't want it to start getting bitter. Plus, once I start getting to the ground, like you see how this is getting a little beat up now. So start with the bottom leaves, and then just keep letting this guy go out, and you could harvest off it all season long. And you see just new ones just keep coming back up. So I'm just gonna leave that for a while until I can't anymore. And then here's our pink lemonade blueberry, which I think something's been getting into it because there's not a whole lot of blueberries on it. There's a couple, but not as many as when I first got it. And here's a look at our regular blueberries. Now Jackson was just eating one earlier. We get a few, but the end of this season is we're gonna redo this garden area. This is our raised beds that were here when we bought the house, and we're gonna be adding four more of the same size. So when we do that, we're gonna expand all the berries, because berries are one of those things that are extremely expensive at the store if you buy organic. So we're planning to do a lot of jams and you know, some other stuff with it. So we'd like to expand that. And this guy, somebody got in here and ate basically all of them too. I bet you it was that little robin I saw that I made Luna come out here and scare off the other day. So we got some raspberries going. But see, I'm so far behind Jackson, it's not even funny. And here's a look at the asparagus that's been ferning out. So a couple they've sent off a couple new ones here and there, but for the most part, it's just kind of letting it fern out, so it's working that root system. And I'm hoping to add some more asparagus at the end of the season too. Here's the potatoes. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I said I was gonna hill this, and I still haven't. I don't know. At this point, does it make sense to do it? I don't know. I probably will, just because, but the whole point of hilling is so you get more potatoes in the end. Because now you see how tall this is? It could be sending off shoots all here with potatoes on it if I, you know, did it correctly. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to that. Our garlic's getting ready to get harvested. We're waiting for a little bit more of it to die back, but it's really starting. You see it's turning yellow here. The lower leaves are dying off. That's when you know you're about ready to harvest those guys. And I think I mentioned before, we're going to be actually putting quite a few back in the ground for next year. So we'll just save a few bulbs. The rest will probably go back in the ground. Here's our blackberry. Here's our first flower of the year. So watching these guys. This is our wild raspberries that we transplanted to try to see what they would do. But these guys are coming out at the end of the season. So that's pretty much what's going on in the garden right now. Oh, I forgot the peppers. Would you look at that? They're actually doing much better. Still on the small side, but we do have little, see if we can see them, little peppers coming in. So keeping an eye on these guys. This one's looking really nice. This is my best one, I think. But other than that, you know, just keeping an eye on things, making sure we keep pest control down. Here's a quick look at the herbs that we got going on. We've got some stuff coming up. Chamomile mixed in with the weeds, chives somewhere around here. Oh, back there I can see a few coming in. Everything else is starting to pick up the pace. So I will be back hopefully in about a week with another garden tour. All right. Thanks for watching our garden tour. See you next week.